Welcome gamers to the first iteration of Learning Lowmans, where we will take a deep dive into the hardest content Destiny 2 has to offer. For this video, we will be talking about Solo Templar and a Titan during Season of the Splicer. This is easily one of my favorite encounters in D2 right now because it requires critical thinking and on-the-fly decision making. But don't underestimate this challenge because, like the great words of Rocky Balboa,
it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
So without further time loss, sorry speedrunners, let's get right into my build. Starting off with our subclass, we'll be on Middle Tree Arc, better known as Thunder Crash, or for our kinetic weapon, we'll be using the Deepstone Crypt Slug Shotgun Heritage with Reconstruction and Recombination with Boss Spec. The energy of choice will be Adored with Killing Wind and Snapshot, since Vorpal doesn't buff damage on oracles.
But actually, Don.
No, Carl. Just no. And in our heavy slot, we'll be using none other than Anarchy. No further explanation needed. God, when is this thing getting nerfed? Now let's move over to the armor. So in terms of stat distribution, we are going for a high intellect build. Looking at you, Chaos Reach. So we can get our super bag for every damage phase. For my helmet, I throw on a sniper ammo finder so I always had ammo for oracles, blast radius for anarchy, and the most important mod of this entire encounter, anti-oracle, which can only be found on VOG gear, and this is why this mod is essential. Destroying an oracle in the Vault of Glass gives you a massive amount of super energy, and any additional copies of this mod stack the effects. On our gauntlets, we use Charge Harvester, which gives you a small chance to be charged with light while killing enemies with anything. So you can go full rip and tear on any enemies you see out there. With our second anti-oracle mod. We will also be bringing in Curus of the Falling Star, which turns your puny normal little Thunder Crash into the literal smite of Zeus himself. Our chest piece will have mods like Void Resistance and Concussive Dampener so we can take more shots from Templar, and a side of Protective Light which gives you a damage reduction when your shields break and you are charged with light. Basically turns you into a walking tank. Pretty basic on the boots with a grenade launcher and sniper rifle scavenger to sustain the multiple DPS phases with the last anti-oracle mod. Leaving last, but surely not least, Breach and Clear, which will add a 35% debuff to Templar, which will allow us to pump out more damage, with another blast radius since those mods stack. Let's kill this guy. Starting from the top, I like to place 3 anarchies to spawn trap the ads and start stacking recombination and get some ammo drops. Then we will proceed to listen to the first set of oracles, which are mid-left, mid-right, and close right. The way I usually kill my oracles is I anarchy the ground of the first oracle and get into a better position to shoot the second and third with my sniper. A little trick I usually do with the first set of oracles is I break the oracles with the relic so I gain super energy on the relic, so I get ahead of the next wave of oracles faster. Once I'm all done with oracles, I kill some ads and I get ready to get to the first damage phase. Once we have super, we will position ourselves as far back from the ledge as we possibly can, and as soon as the relic super is about to hit the boss, you want to start spamming your melee button to break the detainment. Once breaking the detainment, I like to glide up and melee forward once to give the relic momentum so I don't have to run as far back after damage and have the risk of a wipe. I shoot 2 Anarchy at Templar for the most damage while also proccing Breach and Clear. We then Thunder Crashed into a grenade and were only able to get off 3 shots of Slug before Templar had enough of our shenanigans. So we retired to a safe space, reload, and prepare for another wave of oracles. Big piece of advice for this encounter is you always want to be moving so it doesn't allow the ads to surround you. 2 anarchy traps in a good location so we can start charging up recombination again. The next set of oracles will be far left, far right, mid right. We will place our anarchy and get ourselves in a better spot. Once oracles are popped, we clear out a couple of ads and get ready for our second damage phase. We once again pop our super from as far back as we can and break out of detainment. When the Templar is in this area, I don't recommend you doing what I just did by gliding and meleeing because there's a very high chance that it falls off the map. Thankfully for me, it didn't, and I proceeded to buy a couple lottery tickets after this run. Obviously I lost, I'm still making this video rather than relaxing in Fiji. After damage, we grab Relic and listen closely for oracles and find a safe place to reload Anarchy. The next set of oracles are mid-right, far left, and far right. We place Anarchy to charge up recombination again and get into a better location for oracles. Some oracle spots can sometimes be real tricky for Anarchy to hit, so I usually glide up and shoot for a more accurate shot. That is the main reason I usually run backup mag on a Dord, so if I miss a sniper shot, I have an extra shot to take its place. We once again bait all the enemies to one side of the arena, so during damage, it isn't as chaotic. I usually wait till I have 2/3 of my super back to start heading to damage, and it lines up almost every time. For some reason during this run, Harpies weren't really chasing me around the arena, so it led to some pretty sussy Relic supers. As we're doing DPS, I'm keeping an eye on the Relic timer to always make sure I'm not being too greedy by shooting an extra slug shot and costing me the run. We once again go to our cubby and place our 2 favorite Anarchies and listen for oracles, which will be far right, close left, and far left. So we will pre-place our Anarchy, 1 for the first oracle, and get ready for the last 2. As you just saw, that's why I love placing those Anarchies there for that reason. Another thing to look out for whenever you drop the Relic is your ammo situation. When I dropped the Relic for oracles there, I saw it was low on heavy, so that became a pretty big priority, so I kept my eyes peeled for any purple Jolly Ranchers on the ground. Always make sure you're baiting the fanatics every chance you get, like you're breaking your little sibling's ankles. When I am doing DPS in this spot, I usually refrain from trying to pump out too much damage because it usually makes me lose the Relic and causes a wipe once again. Keep an eye on the Relic timer always. After damage, I start to find the first oracle and set up some Anarchy traps to start clearing some ads while I listen for the rest. These oracles are close right, far left, and far right. Once the oracles are all cleared, I begin to bait the enemies and start to camp out away from where I'll do damage. Once again, breaking ankles like Odell. Now it's time for another damage. Let's get a good one before Enraged. And we're out of there. Back to our cubby to reload and listen for oracles, which are close right, mid-right, and mid-left. So here I went for a really weird play that I've never done before, but it gave me the vision that I needed for the oracles to kill them. Huge recommendation when you're doing these challenges to push yourself out of your comfort zone because it might help you in the long run like it just did. Okay, so Templar just got enraged, and at this point you need to do the opposite of Michael Scott and stay completely calm under pressure and think clearly of what your main goal is.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Right now we are building up super energy and drawing all the enemies away from Templar because the arena is about to get a whole lot more crowded. Wait till we have 3/4 of our super and we head to boss. By baiting most of the enemies, the area seems pretty clear, so it's time for damage. During Enraged, I refrain from being greedy during damage because the enemies will swarm you so quick, so I usually stick Anarchy, super, grenade, and just run for my life before this happens. For Enraged oracles, they change from the usual 3 to 5 at a time. So what I usually do is go to the side that has 3 and we will not shoot them in the correct order. All we need to do is break 3 simultaneously to get our super back, and here's how. You stick Anarchy under 2 oracles and break the 3rd one with your sniper at the same time. Once you break them, it will mark you, but be sure to not cleanse immediately because you will just get marked again by the other oracles. Wait for all of the oracles to self-destruct, then you can cleanse. Once cleansed, I wait in the bottom because there typically tends to be no enemies and allows me to hide quite easily. Once you have your super, you make your way to DPS while dodging the sea of minotaurs, and just like that, you kill the big ugly Hydra, and you can flex on your friends, and be sure to say, Xbox record that. Well guys, that wraps up the first episode of Learning Lowman. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, family, loved ones, even your granny if you want. If you want to catch content like this live, be sure to head over to twitch.tv/LTSDawn, and feel free to join this Discord to join my community and talk to me directly. That's all from me, gamers. Have a good one, and until next time, peace!